Welcome to another edition of HorseCenter, everyone. I am Brian Zipsy, and as always, I have the pleasure of being joined by Mr. Haskell, Mr. Saratoga himself, Matt Schiffman. How are you today, Matt?
I'm great. I think we're both back at our home bases after our travels to see American Pharoah, etc.
American Pharoah, etc. Yeah, my travels included a little bit of West Virginia. I saw you up in Saratoga as well, so it was a great trip, Matt. Thank you for being a big part of it. I appreciate it.
It was my pleasure.
And now, yes, you're back in your office in New Jersey. I'm back here in beautiful downtown Louisville, Kentucky at the Horse Center, Horse Racing Nation, I should say, in Derby Wars main offices. You see Big Red behind me as usual. Matt, I think we need to talk about, we've been away for a few days now. I think we need to talk about a couple of horses that we were lucky enough to see doing their thing in grand style on Belmont Stakes Day. Two races apart. We saw the first Triple Crown winner in 37 years, American Pharoah, win the Belmont in spectacular style. But two races before that, a heck of a performance in the Met Mile honor code blitzed the Met Mile field. This is going back a month, but how good were they on that day?
The two of them were absolutely fantastic on that day. We know how good American Pharoah was, and his performance was dominant from right out of the gate to the finish line. And honor code in the Met Mile, a little bit of a different style, but tremendous excitement there. He breaks slow, gets way behind. As I recall, in the Met Mile, it was over 20 lengths behind, and in a mere mile, sweeps by the field and picks up the win. I've always been very partial to closers. When I'm handicapping, I got to always say to myself, a closer isn't going to win every race. I love it when they run that style.
Hey Matt, I'm with you. Honor code is thrilling. It's Zenyatta like, it's Forgo like, it's Silky Sullivan like, and we've seen it twice in a row now. The Met Mile was awesome. He had those horses by the eighth pole after, like you said, being over 20 lengths behind early. Private Zone set some fast fractions with Bayern chasing that day, but it was vintage honor code. And now the similarities and the differences between American Pharoah, I think, are coming more into focus here, Matt, because what we've seen in the last week is both horses moving farther and farther ahead of their specific divisions, or at least showing that they are the tops of their divisions. American Pharoah, of course, I knew he was a really, really good horse before the Belmont, but the Belmont sold me on him as a great horse. I thought it was a wonderful performance. But then he comes to Monmouth after all he had been through with the Triple Crown and the Haskell. It flabbergasted me, Matt, how easy the Haskell was, how little Victor Espinoza had to ask from American Pharoah, how little he had to ask to go with competitive edge early or right off competitive edge, and then just to blow by him at the first chirp he gave him, and then gear down the entire stretch.
Yeah, it's just amazing to think about that. And Espinoza said it after the race that he literally didn't ask American Pharoah to run at any point in that race, and he just dominated the field, and it was just amazing to see. It kind of left me feeling like, you know what, I'd really, really like to see him run a whole race and see what American Pharoah can do, because he was just gliding around that track.
Yeah, you got to think he could have won by 10 lengths or more, Matt, the way he made it look. I've never seen a $1 million race where the jockey was just basically just out there for a Sunday stroll, and that was American Pharoah. But as fun to see as that was, as effortless as American Pharoah made it look in the Haskell, I think you have to give props to Honor Code. First off, he's racing against older horses in the Whitney. This is his first race since that electrifying performance we've already seen in the Met Mile. And for him to run down that loose on the lead Liam's Map, who looked kind of home free in the stretch, he ran a huge race, did Liam's Map, on the lead the whole way. And for Honor Code to run him down and to literally get him in the last jump or two shows you just how good Honor Code has gotten.
Yeah, he absolutely has, and It was an exciting race. Honor code. There were questions, fair questions to be asked about whether he can run 2 turns, whether he could get that distance. All valid questions, and he answered them in grand style. This time, dropping back, I think the official margin was 19 and a half lengths behind after the half mile, and seemingly coming around the turn, there was no way he was going to win that race. He was so far behind, and Liam's map seemed to be going so easily, but uh, Liam's map was game, but Liam's map was getting tired, as was everybody else in that field. Um, but Honor Code just kept going and kept going and kept going and got him right at the wire. And like I said before, I love a closer.
Yeah, nailed at the wire. It's fun to see, Matt. That was one of the most thrilling races for sure of 2015. I also think it probably top to bottom was the deepest field in that the quality of the horses that were seventh, eighth, and ninth is just very high. So Honor
Yeah,
Code proved his class for sure in the Whitney.
yeah, and I think we'll get a chance to talk about that a little bit more. But yes, I mean it was a field that had 7 past Grade 1 winners, but you know, so a lot of those horses, it's been a while since they had recorded their Grade 1 victories. Not to take anything away from Honor Code and the run that he made, it was terrific, but there wasn't a lot of running being done by those horses at the end of the race.
Well, maybe Tonalist is the other one who certainly was running very well in the stretch, and Honor Code has kind of left him a little bit behind. I feel bad that Tonalist has been so far back in both the Met Mile and the Whitney because I thought he ran big in both races, but he's not going to out rally Honor Code. We know that that's been proven. Honor Code did get a good trip, as did Tonalist, kind of coming in a little bit on the inside where there was room to rally coming out of the far turn. He also got a fast pace, which helps Honor Code. I never doubted Honor Code's ability to get 2 turns, Matt. What I wonder about is if he will get 2 turns with the very best horses when he doesn't have a fast pace to run at. But I want to make this point about the Whitney. Liam's map did run fast early, which helps Honor Code. But on the other hand, Liam's map was never really pressured that hard early, which made him all the more starts for the stretch run and make it all the more impressive that Honor Code actually did catch him. Matt, let's start talking about Honor Code versus American Pharoah. A lot of people are saying, hey, American Pharoah hasn't run against anything but 3-year-olds. Honor Code is the horse to beat American Pharoah. Both horses have run 9 times. American Pharoah, of course, as we know, has won 8 in a row in grand style. Honor Code has 6 wins in 2 seconds. Excuse me. Honor Code has the higher buyers of the two. Do you think that Honor Code is the horse to beat American Pharoah, whether it's the Jockey Club Gold Cup or whether it's strictly a one-race rivalry that we all want to see come Breeders' Cup Classic time?
Well, first off, let me just say I really hope that Honor Code makes it to the Breeders' Cup Classic. He's probably got one more start, probably in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. I hope everything continues to go well with him so that we get to see him in Keeneland for the Classic.
Hey,
But
Matt, I hope American Pharoah is in the Breeders' Cup Classic as Keeneland as well.
and I completely agree with you there, Brian. And in answer to your question, I think that Honor Code is right now the best candidate out there to give American Pharoah a challenge. Do I think he will? No,
Don't beat around the bush, Matt.
no.
No. Okay, good. I'm with you to a point. I'm with you to a point, Matt. I think American Pharoah, despite the fact, folks, that he has never run against older horses yet, and 3-year-olds often are at a disadvantage when they race against older horses for the first time. I agree with Matt. American Pharoah is the best horse in America. All things being equal, American Pharoah beats Honor Code, who I think has proven in the last 2 races that he's the best older horse in America. It's funny that these 2 careers now are, they were both highly hyped 2-year-olds. Honor Code, of course, fell off the Triple Crown trail due to injury. American Pharoah did what everybody wanted for so long and gave us a Triple Crown winner. But now they both raced 9 times. Now they're in peak form. They're almost running on the same schedule of late. It's exciting. But I tell you what, Honor Code needs a pace to run at. If he gets it in the Breeders' Cup Classic, if the pace is hot, if there's contested pace in the Breeders' Cup Classic, that becomes the biggest threat to American Pharoah winning the Breeders' Cup Classic and retiring on a 10 race winning streak and going straight to the Hall of Fame as one of the greatest horses of American racing history.
Yeah, and I think a key factor to take into consideration here is that not only does Honor Code need a fast early pace, but he needs the pace setters to be tired and worn down at the end. And that's the difference with American Pharoah and the pace setters that Honor Code has been running down in his last two races. I don't think American Pharoah will be tiring at the end of the race, and it's going to make it that much harder for American Pharoah to beat him. Excuse me, for Honor Code to beat him.
Matt, I'm gonna go against you a little bit there. I don't think Honor Code needs the horses in front of him to be tiring. I think that's just a function of racing, where speed horses don't run as fast, especially American racing, where speed horses don't run as fast at the end of the race as they do early in the race. He's gotten good paces the last two times, and you've seen what he's done. But check out how fast he's running these races. He's running 147 at Saratoga. He's running 133 at Belmont. I mean, Honor Code is running huge. He deserves these 112, 113 buyers, which, by the way, American Pharoah has never reached. He did get a 109 for the Haskell gear down, so maybe there's not too much to look into that. But Honor Code's last two buyers are better than anything American Pharoah has ever done. Um, I like American Pharoah. I'm agreeing with you on the most part. I like American Pharoah. I think he's the best horse, and I think he can sit third or fourth if he needs to, if the pace is a little fast. But if that pace is fast with 4 or 5 horses and he's part of it and it's contested and it's fast, you got to think that American Pharoah is a little bit more vulnerable, especially considering this could be his first race against older horses, first and only race against older horses in his career. So Honor Code is a legitimate threat. Honor Code is the older course of the year at the moment, unless something really happens where neither of these win the Breeders' Cup Classic. I think Honor Code is in great shape to win an Eclipse Award this year. We finally see how good Honor Code could be after following his career for so long. But American Pharoah, we agree. American Pharoah is the horse.
Yes, absolutely, and you know, and it's two great horses. If they do battle, you got to love the connections of both horses. Shug McGahee, the trainer of Honor Code. Yeah, there's nothing that you can dislike about Shug. Baffert and the Zayat team have uh, just done wonderful things for racing, and we've talked about it before. But what American Pharoah has done for racing continues on today. The handle is up incredibly at Saratoga this summer. The handle at the Haskell shattered, smashed any kind of record before. So both of these horses, what they're doing is great for racing, and I hope we get to see the match in October at Keeneland.
Yeah, I've been kind of an advocate of seeing American Pharoah face older horses before the Breeders' Cup Classic. You know, there's the Pacific Classic, the Woodward, the Jockey Club Gold Cup. So I think it would be interesting to see him get maybe 2 races against 3-year-old older horses. But on the other hand, how nice would it be maybe to see American Pharoah win the Travers impressively, have Honor Code come to Belmont, win at 10 furlongs in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, setting up really a race that we all want to see. We want this Triple Crown horse to have a real challenge. And the way Honor Code's looking right now, it looks like he could very well be the horse to do it. So how cool would that be for racing? American Pharoah has opened up new doors, new fans, new avenues for the industry. And so many new fans are following racing because of American Pharoah. But hardcore racing fans know about Honor Code. They've known about him for a couple of years now, and they're excited to see that matchup, as are we, Matt.
Absolutely, Brian, and we'll be there to see it when it happens.
That's right. That's HorseCenter for today, folks. It's American Pharoah. It's Honor Code. We're giving you what you want. We're talking about the two big names in racing today. we'll be back. I think we'll be back later this week for a show. Are you up for that, Matt? If we could do two horse centers in 1 week?
I'd do a horse center every day, Brian, if we could.
Ah, that's what I wanted to hear. And of course, Ember Mar, our wonderful producers out there helping us. So we're going to be back soon, folks. As always, we are brought to you by Horse Racing Nation and Derby Wars. I look forward to seeing you again soon.